All right, hello everybody. It is Tuesday morning and it is 10:30, so that means we're going to be doing some Fantasy Grounds Dungeons and Dragons prep. Um, I guess the proper way to say that would be Dungeons and Dragons prep using Fantasy Ground Unity, regardless. So today, I'll let you know right up front, we're going to be mapping. I'm going to be taking a map, a black and white map, and I'm going to be using the assets that are in Fantasy Grounds Unity, and we're going to add a little bit of flair and color and excitement to this black and white map. So, um, letting you know upfront what's going on. If you're more interested in, say, coding different powers or making new spells, making new items, any of the other stuff that I cover and that I do, um, then feel free to skip this one and go to one of my other 21 episodes, and there's lots of different stuff I cover. Um, if you're here on Tuesday mornings, hey, I am willing to do whatever you need to do. I am running 6 campaigns, um, 4 of which are Dungeons and Dragons. The other 2 are Starfinder. I use Fantasy Grounds Unity for all of them. So trust me, if there's something you want me to cover and explain and show you how to do, then I am sure one of my multiple campaigns has that issue as well. Um, I am going to check real quick to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else I wanted to do. Um, so what I'm going to actually do is, so I have 2 feats I need to check real quick um, for a couple of my characters. These are going to be very fast, very quick. So Farandu, our expert sidekick, has the lucky feat. To make sure it was applied to him. It was not. Okay, so we're going to go into feats. You type lucky to find the feat. Okay, so lucky feat is in Player's Handbook. So for some reason, let's go to my library. Go to modules. So I blew up my UI scale so everybody, those of you watching, could D&D Player's Handbook could see and read everything I'm doing. So once you find the module you want, you left click on it and it'll open up a little book. Your screen might look a little different. They may have little pictures and stuff. It may be a little bit more that you see. I have a extension that allows me to see. I have so many different books and so many different modules that I prefer this smaller view. Don't think I need the other ones. So now I've got it open. When I go to my feats, I can now type in lucky. And then you just drag it over to your feats. Boom. And now I'm going to actions. So now I'm going to code it. Um, so Rob Tui has coded all of the feats. Um, so this makes it very simple. So let's see, we have Goblin and action. We have, I'm just going to stick it under Goblin and action because it's just makes it easy. Boom, Lucky Feet. So all it is for Lucky is just adding Gaming Buddhist. Hey, hello, hello, hello. Uh, Coding Lucky Feet is just a matter of explaining what it does and the information and then putting the number of times you can use it a day. So that's easy. The other one is the Observant Feat, which I don't think you need to is coded. I know it gives him a plus to his passive perception. So he's already got the +5 here. And passive investigation. Okay. So note there should not be any coding for this one. Let's see. There is coding, so let's see what it says. Gaming Buddhist, how the heck are you? Hope you're enjoying your day. If you have any questions or anything that you want to go over, let me know. Otherwise, as soon as I'm done here, we're going to be looking at changing this black and white map, adding color to it and stuff for my players' enjoyment. Actions, items, MISC. I think we're just going to stick it under MISC. Observant reading lips, +5 to pass percent, and self. Okay, so it's just a reminder in the combat tracker. Cool. So this doesn't actually change any roles or affect anything. I'm good. I just finished coding my splash screen I'll be using to update all my apps. Nice. Got to run it through a bunch of tests, but I think this one should finally work. Excellent, Gaming Buddhist. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're done with this. So that's what the map originally looked like. Let me check something real quick. All right, so I was correct. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to take a look at this map. I've added a line of sight already, as you can see. I've also added some water effects to the water. And I do want to clarify that this is not necessary at all. So if you're a new DM and you have a map that looks like this, as long as you have a grid on it, you're good. That's all you really need. You don't even have to use a map. You can use Theater of the Mind. But I am that guy, and I like having cool stuff for my players when I can. Um, I actually went through and made sure I had all my encounters done and everything else done first. Um, so I tweaked these first couple encounters why there's more pins than are on the DM's map because these are all pins I've added and things that I've done to make it more personal to my campaign. And because this is, I'm sticking this little one shot into my homebrew campaign. All right, so we open up the toggle switchy. So I was thinking about changing the aspect of the grid a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. So here's a sleeping bag, and right now it's about just over 5 feet, 7 feet. So that's actually perfect. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. That's the first thing you want to do if you're using the assets to color or change or paint or do whatever you're going to be doing, is you want to make sure your grid is set, and it is. So what I want to do, I want to do a couple different things. So these things are torture, basically, like drying racks that these bugbears have set up, and they've attached people to them. And then you got some tents and a fireplace. I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to make the walls. So if we go to, I think I'm just going to try, you can search for wall, and that comes up with a lot of different responses. But I think I'm going to go to the Fantasy Grounds 2019. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go change my scale back to what I normally use it. So you do that by doing SCALE, scale, UI, all together, one word. I typically use 80 to 90, so let's try 85. As you can see, everything on my screen is smaller, except for the image in the background. Everything else has shifted and made smaller. I think I'm going to go with 90. So if you're in the chat and you press the up arrow, it'll automatically populate with what you last typed. So I'm now, so I'm just going to go scale 90, just a smidge bigger. Boom. So UI sales change to 90. Unlock the position. You right click, move it down, right click to lock it again. All right, so what that did is it now makes it to where I now have more room on my screen to play with. Yes, everything is smaller, it's a little harder to read, but I have a lot more room to mess around and play with. So I am willing to make that sacrifice of harder to read stuff, because you guys don't really need to read the particulars like what we were doing on my last stream. But this lets me go like this, for example, and I can see more choices at once. All right, so we have Fantasy Ground interior, crests, jungle, mountains, towns, underground. Let's try underground map pack and see what's in here. Go to brushes. So here's our tunnels, a tunnel wall. So this is pretty cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see. So let's just go ahead and do wall. Why not? Boom. Actually, let me go back up to filter. Up, up, up to index. There we go. Type in wall. Take a moment because I have a lot of stuff. There are lots of walls from fantasy ground, fantasy type walls to more futuristic walls, wooden cavern, all type of things here. All right, so you can drag and drop these into the assets, make a layer, or you can paint and click and drag them. All right, so what I'm looking for is hewn stone. Now this is a mine, so I'm looking for jagged rock. Um, and the color isn't as important because you can always change the color, which is another really nice benefit to using the stuff in Fantasy Grounds Unity. And as you can see, we have a lot to choose from. Lots of walls. Okay, so where I know, for example, there were some pretty cool ice walls. So yeah, that's the problem, is I was looking for a particular thing. I might just do it multiple times. So that's another thing you can do, is draw it and then copy it, and boom, we've got a second one. I might just use this. I mean, this guy sort of has the rough hewn and then a little shadow and then a grayness for the floor. That might not be bad. Um, so yes, let's just do that. Make it simple. So I don't want to spend years on this um, for a couple different reasons, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, I'm going to make this, I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, give ourselves a little bit more to work with, a little drawing area to work with. Slide this over. To the right, to the right. And we're going to take, we have our layer. So we have a couple different choices here. I think we're going to make it a painting layer because I want to draw it. I don't want to, I could stamp it as a layer. But for now, I think we're just going to paint it. So we're going to do a plus painting layer, and we're going to call it, you can double click on it and name it. So this is going to be wall. So once you make sure it's selected, I'm going to grab my tool. Boom. Right now it's 3.5 by 4. So I don't want it anywhere near that um, width. So again, it's supposed to be the wall, some shadow, and then the floor. Um, so I'm going to make it about 1.5 wide instead of 5.5 wide. So 1.5. There we go. So now we've got a smaller thing. So it's actually looking smaller than I expected. We're going to rotate it. So let's go with 2.5. See what that looks like. There we go. I'm going to split the difference and just say 2. All right, so if you look at at what we're looking at here, we want, so the blackness is the shadow, so we want this to go right around the edge of where we're actually going. So it's going to override what's here already. a bit. Um, but we'll check this out in a minute and we'll see how it works. So click on walls, make sure it's selected. We use our paint tool. We're going to be using our drawing line. And you want to, when you're drawing, you want to make sure that you're going from where the quill touches the paper, not just ignore the image. You want to go from where the quill touches the paper and draw. So we're going to test it. So this is upside down, Control Z. So we're going to go start down here. All right, Control Z. Let's zoom in a bit and sort of go along the bottom here. Boom. Okay, and we're just drawing, we're drawing, making a little lines. Whoa, hello. So we come down. We'll move the map over to here. So now we just take our erase and go, what the heck was this, man? Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you. All right, go back to our line. And it's always good practice to go back a little bit from where you left off. And then you can draw. Go up to the point, and then we're going to head back. Again, some weirdness happens, so we just go to our erase. Erase, erase, erase. Come on, goodbye. Thank you. Go back to our drawing line. So what I'm going to do, again, you just want to go back a little bit from where you left off. We're going to go up, and this time I'm just going to stop. Escape. Well, let's go up a little higher. And then we're just going to draw it back the other way. Stop there. All right. I do want to have a little bit more room up here because there's something up here during the play. So we're going to erase this corner up here. A little bit more of this. And we're going to draw it again. And we're just going to go out a bit. Make sure. There we go. There we go. And again, it can be very easy to forget that you're supposed to be going along the quill. So where the point of the quill goes, that's where the line will be drawn. For the most part, at least. Oops, Control Z. All right, now we do a flip. Drawing along the outside, just following it and going boom, let go. All right, so there's our wall. we'll finish up over here. Is it going to work? It is going to work. Control Z. All right, so I'm stopping here. Let's go ahead and can we just paint over it? We can. Okay, good. Boom. All right, so we have our walls. And by the way, let's see. If we go like this. Okay. Boom. So now what I want to do is I want to go into not changing anything else. I'm just going to change the color and make it more of a brown. So if you look at here, make it more of a brown. Let's see, going lighter. There we go. So that as we draw it now, oops, it's the wrong way. It's more of an outside color, more of a cliff face, as opposed to an interior wall. And you can make it green, you can make it any other color you wanted. So let's go to erase. Go back to draw. And we're going to draw, oops, we're going to draw it from here. So there's a gate here, so that actually makes it pretty nice. It's coming from the gate. And then we're going to flip it again. And go, okay, we just flipped it, dude. Control Z, flip. Okay. Let's try turning it. Click, click, and see if that helps. There we go. All right. Now we're going here, going around, making ourselves a little cul-de-sac. And I am going to tweak it again once I get up to here. We're going to erase that last little bit. There we go. And we're going to change it to greenish. Trying to find the right flavor. Do I want it really dark green, lighter green? I think I'm going to go with like a middle-ish. There we go. Say OK. Go back to our drawing tool. And we're going to pick it up. Nope, nope, nope. Control Z. So we do a flip, flip, flip. So why am I doing this? This is outside the cave. So it's still a cliff face. So it's got this rough, rocky look to it, but it's going into grass as opposed to the other stuff. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just, there we go. So now we've got our painting and we are set. All right, so we've got our wall done. And so what had happened was, so I forgot to click my walls again. So it made another one, and that's fine. We'll just say this is walls 2. Okay, so now we have 2 painting wall layers of our walls. So now I want to go in and I want to add my floor. So let's go to our assets again and type floor. We'll see what it has. And we can also do ground or grass, stuff like that. Lots of different choices when it comes to the assets you want. So we're going to make a different layer. We want to make a different plus painting layer. This one's going to be ground. Do a little stretchy stretch. All right, so we have some basement and we have some cave floors. I like the cave floor already. And we have lots of choices with the cave floor too. So again, we could paint or we could stamp. I think we're going to stamp this time. So we're going to grab, let's just take a look at the next couple of pages and see. So we have actual interior designs, tiles, stuff like that, forest dirt. So we're actually going to start with the forest dirt just because it's cool. I like it. And we're going to put it in here for our interior spot, and we'll probably put a little bit more of that. So let's see. All right, now it's 1 by 1, so we're going to make it, let's just go with 2 by 2. And there we go. So again, we could paint. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the opacity just a smidge by about half. So we're going to make it 125. So make it a little bit more clear. See, so it's more clear. And what that does, we've got the stamp. So we're going to go ahead, actually going to make it big first. Say okay. If you hold down Control, you can make it large. So I'm just going to put some big ones in here. So just go boom, boom. Turn it by holding Shift and turn the mouse wheel. Boom. Just to fill in this section. And now I can hit it a couple times, click, click, and it will make it darker. Gonna turn it again. Click, 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 click. See, and it makes it darker. So we've got this dirt floor. Now we're going to come up here. We're going to make it a little smaller. Actually, going to make it a lot smaller just to fill in this section here. And if we don't like the pattern, see, just cover up the other ones with those. All right, so this gives us our outside-ish, blow it up a little bit, our outside looking ground. Zoom in a little bit. And we're going to have like a trail going out to these where they've walked and used it. All right, so there's our first part. Now we're going to go into our interior cave floor. I like the stone floor. Um, but I think I'm going to stick with the cave. The cave floor. So let's go ahead. Do we want the square? Do we want... I think we're going to go with the square and drop it here. Boom. All right, and now we're going to zoom down. We're going to turn it. There we go. So it looks more conventional. And then we're just going to add some... Oops. So let's Control Z these. And we're going to, again, bring down the opacity so that we can add a couple layers by stamp, stamp. So the more you stamp, the more opaque it gets. See, but then you have a little bit of a bleeding between the two. So it makes it nice. Doing the same thing here. So now we've got our interior floor. So we're not worried so much about the things that are already there because, and the nice thing is I can turn it as well so that the lines will sort of follow along with the cave, which is cool. So I can turn, shift, we're gonna make it a little smaller. So now that we're coloring over the tracks and we're not blending as much, we're going to go ahead and increase the opacity a little bit so we don't have to stamp as many times to cover up the tracks. And again, I'm just tweaking the line as I go. I mean, the orientation. The cool thing is we have tracks, so we'll be able to add them back in. These mine tracks, cart tracks. All right, now we're going to make it much smaller to go along these edges here. We can turn it. It's not quite as rough either as well along this edge here. There we go. And it really just depends. You could add some rocks. So let's go to before, let's see, floor. Let's go ahead and go back to our, finish up our grass because I'm pretty sure there's going to be grass out here. There we go. See? Oops. There's really nothing exciting going on over here, so we're just going to take this. So we're going to drag this over to here. Boom. This is 12 by 12, so you can draw this, set this up, and then add things to it, forests and things. So obviously we don't need that. We're going to make it 2. Let's see how that looks. 2 by 2. There we go. So we want to make sure. So we have our walls here. So we're going to click on this painting. We're going to move it below the walls. Actually, no. So this one, we're going to make a new painting one because we want a new plus. This is going to be the grass. So we want the grass below everything else. And we're going to go ahead and we could paint, I think in this case, let's see, let's go ahead and do a line for now. So we're just going underneath. Waiting for it to catch up. Escape. So now we're going to boost it up to, let's go 4. There we go. We want it to be about here. And you notice it's going underneath our path. And then we'll go down to 1. And we'll add one little quick to cover up the white. All right, so there's our stuff. We'll add a quick one here because that's white, and a quick one here because it's white. Oops. There we go. Escape. All right, so to us, looks a little sloppy, but what we do is, so the walls should have line of sight. Let's double check and make sure that's correct. So it looks like they may not, but what we're going to do is put a rectangle, line of sight, just around the edge of the map. And what that means is that the players won't see anything. Let's see, do we zoom in? Okay. Won't see anything beyond where we are. All right, so it looks like this, so where's our line of sight? Here it is. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to tweak our line of sight to make it match what we've drawn. Control Z. All right. Actually, no. This is not the easiest way to do it. So what you can do is you go to, you find the layer and you go to the walls. There it is. And then what you do is you go to, so that's the one we need, walls. So these two are the walls that we need. So you go to line of sight and you go here, line of sight. You go to walls and you go there's a button that allows, is this it? Duplicate layer as walls. So we click these two, boom. So that does work. However, it added a ton of points. So we're going to delete those because I believe I could be very well be wrong. That all those, that's data. So if we had that many points of line of sight, then it would make it take more space and longer to load. But I could be wrong. So what we're going to do is just going to jump along here and put it where we drew it. This is our gate, which we will get to shortly. Why won't this do this here? Let's see. Can we, is there a minus? Where's the magnetic snap? Remove waypoint. Click. Remove point. Here, let's try this. There we go. All right, so we're really going to zoom in because this is annoying me. Wow. Okay. Okay. Again, is that important? No, but it makes me feel better. All right, so now we're moving this along along the wall we've draw. What? Hello? Who's talking? Okay. So we're just tweaking the line of sight a little bit, making it to where the players see what we've done. So we're going to zoom into this one a little bit, see what's going on. Right, this is our gate. Um, so you can see how cool those walls look, by the way, if you ever get really close, that we added in there. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so you guys get the point. I'm not going to spend a lot more time doing this here now. I will fix this later. You could add it as duplicate it as walls. Um, Typically, when you're making walls and such, you don't have as many weird curves and twists. Hey, Atomic, how you doing? Um, so when you then duplicate your paint as a wall, it makes it it's simpler. You don't have as many of those crazy lines as we did. So let's take a look. So this is our original. Boom, boom, boom. We'll go to play. We'll go turn on line of sight. That's what it looked like before. And so we'll take a look and see what we can see now. So we've got water. We've got our pathways. And then we go out here. Then turns into grass. And you've got a pathway here for dirt. So there we are. So that's where we are so far. Um, so let's add, in the time we have left, oh, well, hold on a second. What happened to our line of sight? I thought we did a triangle. Let's go back to our line of sight. Line of sight. Oh, we didn't. That's weird. Okay. So we go to our rectangle. I guess I'm going crazy because I could have sworn I did this a moment ago. I must have deleted it when I was going delete happy. There we go. So now we go back to play, and that's what the players will be able to see. They'll just see the edge of the forest. They won't see our mess along the edge. Perfect. Okay. So and you'll notice that along these walls, all they see are what are the addition of what we actually did. Here down is it's white just because I haven't moved the lines up. They'll only see the draw. See? So we'll fix that when we get to that point. Like I said, I don't want to waste. It'll take me another 20 minutes probably. Well, maybe 10. 5 or 10 to fix all that. But I can be showing you other stuff. So let's go ahead and add our tents and our fire to this campsite. So again, if you look at the original, here's our campsite. I don't want S, I want tent. Singular. And let's see what we've got. So, unfortunately, let me see. I want to test something real quick. Add a space after tent. All right, so there's only one. Okay. All right, so here's, so we have this one. We have our fancy ones. There is supposed to be a fancy one, and then there's supposed to be a regular one. And then there's also be a bedroll. So if you look at our original again, so we have 2 regular tents, a bedroll, and a fancy one. So we're going to put these 2 boring tents. Well, which one do we think is more fancy? I'm going to say this is the fancy one, actually. So we have a dark one, a regular one. Actually, we'll go with these 2. So we have one. We go to layers. We go add layer. Add a painting layer. We actually don't want a painting layer, so we'll delete it. We want a, just gonna go to layers, and this will make each one will be individual, and that's fine by me. So we're gonna go shift. All right, so we don't know how big this is, so let's drop it down here just to see. Perfect. It's a small little 5x5 thing. Okay. And then we're gonna drop this guy down here. So let's zoom in, go to our select, go click. Oh, hold on a second, folks. Control Z, Control Z. So I need to add a layer. I need to add a layer. Okay, let me try this again. See if my logic is correct. Control C. Plus, add a painting layer. Drop it in here. And now we have our little stampy. So let's check something. I want to check one other thing. There we go. Okay, so I didn't have it in here before, so that's what I was doing wrong. So we delete. So now we have him. We can manipulate him. We take it, drop it in here, slap him here. We take him, slap him here, and boom. All right. Because what you're doing when you're throwing from your assets onto the image, you're just adding it to the image, sort of the main basic layer. So you can't manipulate that object. You can't put it up or down layers. You can't turn it, change the color, any of that stuff. So you want to make sure you throw it in here, so that way you can manipulate it, the asset later. All right, so here's our fancy one. Oops, we Control Z. So now we go to our layer selection, click. You can then turn it here. going to shrink it. We're going to turn it a little bit. Boom. If you hold Control, you can then make turn minutely. We're going to bring it out and then hold Control to move it so that it's set up. Boom, right there. This guy is a little big, so we're going to make him smaller. Just over 7 feet. 7 feet-ish. Tweak and turn it just a bit because he's setting it up along the wall. Boom. Now we do the same thing to him. Make him a little smaller. Turn him. And I'm actually going to change his color to make it a little bit more greenish. Not that greenish. There we go. And he's going to be down here. And now we need our bedroll. We have a bedroll. So we're going to slap him down here. Click. What happened? Why is he so far down? That's weird. All right, throw him up here so he's on top of everything. And we're going to turn him. All right, and now we've set up, oops, Control Z. Now we set up our fire. So let's see if there's a campfire. I think there is. Yeah, there's several. So I like this one. Is it going to be lit right now when they come? It could be. We don't know. So for now, we'll leave it. We'll have it lit. It's lit. Boink. That's a big campfire. Okay. So we now go to select. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to just turn it a little bit. All right, so there's a campfire. So here is the original. And here is our finished version. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our effect ocean layer. And we're going to go to enable mask. And we're going to reveal area. And we're going to zoom in. We're going to go hold Alt and go just draw around the fire. And didn't work. Okay, it did work. Control Z. Oh, I know why. Because it's not in the hide area. It's below everything I'm doing. That's why. Okay. So the ocean layer is below because if we put it above the campfire, then it makes our other stuff weird. Okay, so we're gonna leave it the way it is for now. I don't want to make it another effect layer just for the fire. Okay, so if it's dark, then I'll probably just put a circle of light around it. So like this, if you go to, let's see, cloud. See what kind of clouds we have. Might do smoke as well. Smoke might work. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for something that's just going to represent the light. That's the light shining from the campfire. Here we go. Green gas cloud is perfect. So we go to our layers. We go to paint. We go to green gas cloud. Actually, I like this stinking cloud a little better. No, I'm going to go with this because it fades away. Go to our color and go to yellow. Why isn't it changing? Cancel. Alright, so it's very dark. So we're going to go ahead and make this really minimal. Alright, so this is too dark to do what I wanted it to do. So let's go with so we want something that's virtually white, not gray. So let's go with smoke. Let's find some smoke. Smoke, smoke, smoke. See what we've got here. Or better yet, snow. See what kind of snow effects we have. We have a lot of snow effects because you have snow roofs and snow walls and stuff like that. So there we go. See, this is what I was looking for right here. Boop. We put that in there. This might work. Let's see. Nope. Okay, so we cancel. So we put this guy in here. Color, yellow. There we go. That's closer to what I wanted. And then we bring it down, the transparency down. And we go yellow, bright yellow. And we take this down to about 25. Say OK. And then this is going to be 5. Let's make this, instead of 25, we'll make it 50. Transparency is 50. Okay. We are on stamp, so we go stamp. There we go, see? And then we shift. There you go. So now we have some light. You have light coming from the campfire. Yep, went through all that trouble just to do the campfire. All right, so again, there's our original. Here's our finished product. Boom, boom. I'm going to go to our layers to see where is our walls. Here's the ground. needs to be below the walls. There we go. All right. All right, so there you go. Let's go ahead and finish up our, so it's a mine track. So let's go with mine. And there it is, mine track right there. So we go here, we go to paint, we go add a paint layer, and we call it tracks. We take our mine track. Let's see, doesn't matter. That's the end. So we're just going to do this. Right now it's 2 by 4. We want it about half that, question mark. There we go, yep, 1 by 2. We're going to zoom in, put this right in the middle of our screen. So we're going to start here. So this is going to be a little dusty and a little older, so we're going to make it a little less transparent. There we go. Okay. Now start here and we just carefully draw this down. Trying to be straight. And then we go to our eraser. Go. Go back to our line. All right, Control C. Let's see if I can get this perfect. And if not, no big deal. The world is never gonna end. That's not what I meant to say, but okay. There we go. There we go. Ha ha ha. And you said I couldn't do it. All right, so now we have our track. If we want to, we can go, so this is 1 by 2. We're going to throw in our end of piece, like so. We change this also to 1. And then we go make this a stamp. We're going to go hold down Shift to turn it so it matches. And then we do the same thing at the other end. All right. There you go. So we have our mine. So once again, let's take a look. There's your map. We are set. We're ready to go. do want to fix the effects layer for the ocean. We're going to enable mask. There we go. Enable the mask, and now we're going to reveal some areas. So if we just go down here, where is Alt? And just go just inside the water line. Everything within this area will then have the water effect. And you can dupe override and overrun what you had before, absolutely. So there we go. Now we've got our water, we have our map. Add a little bit of water in here, a little water effect. Just going around outside a little bit, so we can see some of that. There you go. All right, so I might change this to river. Let's see. Water. So you now have this Ripley effect. Either one, they both work, whatever you feel like doing. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to show up on Tuesday. Ask Josh Watma is the Fantasy Grounds developer who does all of these. So like he's the one that drew all these different effects, the snow, all those things you were looking at, the walls, all those things. That's all Josh Watma. He has a show every Saturday where he goes through maps, map making and tweaking maps, drawing maps, all that stuff. I've learned 95% of what I know from him watching his show. So he's the expert by far. Check out some of my other things here on YouTube if you want to see how this how I do live play D&D, see what kind of dungeon master I am. I do D&D on Wednesdays, 2 different streams from 6:30 to 9:30 and then from 10 to midnight. And then I also have Starfinder on Sundays. So like, subscribe, follow, all those little things that you're supposed to do. If you're watching this, you already know all those things. However, whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.